In Exodus 33, verse 14, it says, "My presence will go with you, and I will give you rest." Isn't that just wonderful? I mean, we know that the Israelites were at a place of fear because they were leaving everything they knew. They'd lived in a land for generations and they were doing their thing for generations. And we know that they had fear. And then God says, "My presence will go with you and I will give you rest." Wow. And then I think of the whole journey. And it was a journey fraught with all kinds of difficulties and things like that. But even after the long journey, even when they were going into the promised land, he was there with Joshua and Caleb, who took the people across the Jordan into Canaan. And they crossed the Jordan and they conquered the land, this land that they were afraid of. When they left Egypt, they literally stepped out in faith and stepped out into nothing, into a desert. And God brought them on a 40-year journey all along this path where the new generation could enter into a place where He would give them rest. And so I I look at my life and I think to myself, I've opened and had little businesses and done jobs and I've had, work here and there and just to help. But I was mostly a mom. I looked after my children and took them to and from school and all kinds of things. And that's a noble thing to do. But now they're getting older and I am in my 50s and I now must, not must, but I want to have this little business. Well, I need to earn a little bit of extra money before we have to retire or whatever. And I first kind of was I was quite sort of nervous, but kind of like, I'm 50, can I do this and can I? And one of the things He always did was God reminded me that Moses was 80 when he started his journey of getting the people to go with him to Canaan, to the promised land. And so I'm actually a spring chicken and I've got 30 years on him, so I can do this thing. And then the enemy comes and he says, "But you've got a pain in your toe, or you've got a bit of arthritis in this finger, or I'm on warfarin and I've got a bit of high blood pressure." And he whispers these things in your ears, and you're actually not a very good businesswoman, or you actually don't do this well, or I'm a little bit of a creative, so keeping my thoughts and completing an idea is sometimes a challenge because they come thick and fast sometimes. And you've got to keep them at bay. So I write them all down and I end up crossing out a lot. And it's kind of, is this going to be a success? And we've been talking about working at it and pushing forward and then trusting God. And I know this will be a success because this is a vision I know that God has given me. Throughout the years, He has confirmed that. And so I'm at the place finally where I can cross the Jordan. And I'm struggling a little because I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing all the time. But the one thing that has always brought me through was that His grace is sufficient for me. We spoke about that in Corinthians 2. And He is powerful in my weakness. But this verse I love because Exodus 33 verse 14 says, "My presence will go with you and I will give you rest." And I've got this friend, she talks Holy Spirit. She talks about Holy Spirit. I spoke to Holy Spirit and I've started doing that. And then I've realized and I've recognized this presence that is with me all the time. He does not rest. When I rest, He's working at it. When I'm working, He's also working. So then it's on steroids, my work. So take that as a comfort. That presence of God that goes with you all of the time, goes with you to the office, where it might be difficult today. Goes with you on the road if you're a person with a new license. Goes with you to a place that you're not wanting to go to because you're nervous to talk to the person across the counter, or that phone call that you've got to make, that email that you've got to write, those prices that you've got to work out. He's with you all the time, and that's a comfort. Can you be comforted by the presence of God that is with you all the time? Think about it. And while you're doing that, have a wonderful day. We'll speak again tomorrow.